In this presentation, I'll be talking about domestic violence and how it's more common in Alice Springs because of that Indigenous-based society. Because of this, it happens more so often in Alice Springs because of their upbringing and how it's brought to them. That a lot of their problems are at home and they stay at home. That's how they're dealt with. And especially from a person like me, a white Westerner, or a policeman, that's a big no-no. They don't want to bring their problems outside of their home. They don't want to do that. And it's hard to help a situation like that. Like, when I went to Alice Springs for my field trip, for my mission trip, I went to Defense Violence Shelter. And honestly, that hurt me so much to see a family, a mum and her kids look at me with such distaste and disgust, but yet so much fear. They didn't want to walk in the same corridor as me. They waited for me to pass while they standed at the doorway. That hurt me so much to see one man do so much damage to a person. To hurt them so bad that they look at a man so differently that they can't trust him no matter what they look like. And it made me look at my world differently. It made me look at my point of view of the world so differently. When I got home, I gave my mom and dad a hug because I was so thankful that I had them there, that I had a family, a society, and a friendship base where they loved me. And it definitely opened up my eyes about the situation. That it happens a lot more than we think. And I'm going to talk about how the stolen generation has affected that. With the men in the society going to alcohol to help their problems, with the pain that they are feeling, and the stuff that they've gone through because of it. And even though it's happened some years ago, they're still trying to deal with the situation at hand. Because how an Aboriginal community works is they have a child. That's their child. But unlike us, we normally have a mum and a dad, and maybe a couple aunties and uncles. They have a mum and a dad. And they have aunties, uncles, grandparents, and they teach. Their society is based on teaching the kid. And when something like the stolen generation happened, where us being a society that we are, that where we took them out of the picture and then tried to let their society deal, it broke down. And that is a sucky situation. And even though I wish it could have never happened, it happened. And because of that, with how their society worked, it caused a lot of social breakdowns. You had homes that weren't a home because with how it worked, when they had no children, they didn't know who to teach, they didn't know what to do, they didn't know what to instruct, because they had no one to teach it to. And with most men, it caused them to go to alcohol, a way to numb the pain. And because of this, in most circumstances, alcohol normally dulls the brain, which causes more frustration, more anger. And when I was doing research on the stolen generation, even in the documents that I was looking at, they called it forced removal. They didn't actually call it the stolen generation. They just called it forced removal as a way of acknowledging it and understanding it. And it's really hard to try and address a situation like this. It's a complex causes of solutions that we don't know how to deal with, especially with the situation that's at hand. this is one of the reasons why it's such a hard and complex topic to try and solve in the situation that we're trying to. There's a few ways where I feel like we could improve on and do on, but even then, it's really hard to help a society where someone like us have done so much damage, and trying to help them and in that situation is still even harder when they're still trying to get over it generations past. And one of the ways that I feel like we could help is have a better support network. So maybe find some people in the community that want to learn and help them learn and help them give back to their communities and help by a better support network, the better support team behind that community, and actually bring them into the modern day community. Don't exclude them because of their color or their race, but actually bring them back into society and make them feel like they are included with just as much support network as we have, and give that to them as well. And actually do outreach into the community so that they feel like they are wanted in. And if they don't want to be in the community, don't force them, but let them have their space and offer a helping hand. And another way that we could do it is if there's a domestic violence situation that's happened where police have been called to the situation, instead of just locking the man away, actually do a mandatory psych evaluation on them or a psychiatric checkup to see what happened in the leading up to this event, why the man or even the woman in some cases went so far to hurt their spouse. And actually, if that has happened, look at the events and actually ask why the events are happening, and maybe just try and solve the situation in a peaceful manner than just locking them up. And also talking to the kids about the situation so that they aren't left mentally scarred. And talk about the situation and try and get a positive solution to the situation than just locking up the man or woman in jail. And on that topic, it is still really hard to help that society because of how much damage we've done. But I feel like if we give a helping hand and try and help manage the situations where we can or where we are able to, I really feel like we'd be able to make a change. Whether it's small or whether it's big. I feel like if we gave the opportunity for these communities to come in and actually give the help that we want to give them properly, it'd be able to change so much. And I just want to thank you for listening to this presentation and my point on this argument. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.